So I just wanted to remind everyone that with the summer being very prevalent at the moment, you've got the heart chakra, which is, in the Chinese medicine world, the heart is very much the organ associated with this time of year. And the correlating aspect of the heart in Chinese medicine is the small intestine. So twists are one aspect to reach that. And so we're just going to start, as we so often do, by just swaying from side to side. So this does have a summer theme, but it's more than that. So just gently going from side to side. Balancing the pelvis, a very slight twist tunes into the summer theme of heart, but also that correlating small intestine organ. And you're also, as you sway from side to side, beginning to balance the brain, in that the left and right and left hemispheres are beginning to communicate with one another. You can increase your sway optionally by going from side to side. And then as you start to slow down and come to the centre, bring your hands and clasp them behind your head, almost at the base of the head, supporting the neck, and do the same movement, but your hands are up. And you'll notice that your neck slightly extends. Your chin might slip slightly downwards. So you're beginning to have an impact on your nervous system. And then come to the centre and release your hands. Cross one foot over the other. So I'm crossing my right foot over my left, lifting my hands, and again crossing the palms. I don't mind which palm you cross over. I'm clasping my fingers and just coming to the other side. Just slight lateral twist. Come to the centre and go over to the other side. And then breathing in, stretch up and lower your hands. And before we uncross the ankles, I just wanted to highlight, it's probably all too late now, but for anybody who has relatives with dementia, just the crossover of the ankles, even if you're standing or seated, gives a signal to the brain that there has been a crossover, and that replicates all through the body, as my understanding is, to the brain. So again, it's an additional brain hemisphere communication. Uncross the leg and then come to the other side. So I'm crossing my left over my right. You might like to hold the other wrist, it doesn't really matter. I'm never good at telling you which wrist to hold, it will just feel intuitive. And go to one side and then come to the other side. One side will feel more satisfying than the other side. And then come to the centre and lower your hands and uncross your ankles. So if I can remember this, come to a goddess pose. Your feet are slightly out, slightly bend your knees and have your hands just slightly up. And then sway both hands over and then just draw back, both hands over and draw one hand back, both hands over and both hands over and just drawing one back. And then just raise both hands, thumbs together, and just gently sway from side to side. Lower the hands, bring your feet hip width apart, and just rock slightly forwards and slightly back. So it's a slight balance awareness where you are activating the four corners of your feet. Some people like to think of it as three corners, a tripod. Slightly come forward, slightly come back. And then lifting and rolling the shoulders. We're going to do salute to the sun, which is very much, of course, connected to the summer, normally when it's sunny. So again, there are so many variations and options on the type of salute that you're going to do. So breathing in, breathing out, hands together. Breathing in, circle the hands up, stretch your fingers. Breathing out, circle, roll down. And I'm stepping my right foot back, left foot back, but keeping it high. So for a nanosecond, you're in plank. And then bring your knees to the ground and come to lie on your tummy. You can come via your elbows, stretching your arms out in front of you. Just bounce your feet, the tops of your feet on the floor. Tuck your toes under and stretch the right leg back. Release the right leg to the ground and let the right ankle fall to the right. Extend the left leg back, the left heel. Release to the ground and let both ankles just relax out to the side and wobble from side to side. Slide your hands back to your either side of your bust, elbows in. Press down with your hands to come back to kneeling. Do a cat, bending and dipping your back, looking up, and then cow, rounding your back. Feel that you can move your hands and come to your soft downward dog. And feel that you can sway your dog, moving bending one knee and bending the other knee and swaying your hips from side to side. Stretch both legs back. Bend both knees back down to the ground. Hands go to the left and give space for your right foot to come up. Maybe your right foot goes out to the right a little bit. And raise both hands up, looking ahead or up, depending on where your neck is, stretching your fingers. And then just turn to the right. Left hand goes on the right thigh and the right hand goes on the right hip. And look slightly to the right. Come back to the center, hands either side of your right foot. And just stretch your bottom back, extend your right leg and your right toes come up to the ceiling. Then flatten your right foot to the ground. Tuck your back left toes underneath, tummy in, lift your left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Hands on the shins, half lift, flat back. Breathing out, bend your knees and bend your elbows. Breathing in, flat back. Breathe out as you stay here. And then breathing in, press your feet into the ground, soften your knees as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And raising your arms up, stretching your fingers, breathing out to lower your arms. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart center. And then hands circle up. Come through the heart center as you bend your knees and your elbows. Hands either side of your feet. Step your left foot back. You're coming into high plank. Right foot back. You're in plank for a nanosecond and then bend both knees to the ground and come to lying on your tummy, stretching your hands out in front of you.
And then just bounce your legs, bounce your feet. Do whatever works for you, creating a vibration. Stretching your hands up, out. Come slightly up as you slide your hands back to your chest level, elbows in. Press down your hands to come to kneeling. Come via your cat and cow, and as you're rounding the back, chin to chest, feel that you can adjust your hands as you come into your soft dog. Walk the dog, bending one knee and then the other knee. Bend both knees and extend both knees. The heels don't have to touch the ground. Then bend both knees back down to the ground. And this time your hands go to the right as your left foot comes up, hands either side of the left foot, and just stretch into the left side. Tummy comes in as you kneel up, hands up. In your crescent moon, you can either look ahead or look up. If you look up, you'll be going slightly back, bringing your hands down, and your right hand goes to your left thigh. Your left hand goes on your waist. Breathing in, lengthen your spine, and breathing out, turn to look over your left shoulder. Come back to the center, hands either side of your left foot. And just bring your bottom back. Your left toes go up to the ceiling slightly. You can come to sit back or come to whatever works for your knee, just stretching out the back of the left leg. Come back with your hands to either side of your left foot. Tuck your right toes underneath, tummy in. Lift up your right knee and step your right foot to your left foot. Hands on your shins, half lift. Breathe out, bend your knees and bend your elbows. Breathe in, half lift. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathing in, press your feet to the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Stretch your hands up, stretch your fingers. And breathing out, lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart, connecting with the summer vibration. Breathing in, hands up, stretch up. Breathing out, roll down, vertebra by vertebra. Hands either side of your feet as you step your right foot back, high, left foot back, plank. Heels up to the ceiling, and then instantly bend your knees back down to the ground. Come to once more stretching out on your tummy. You can stretch out totally flat on the ground. Feel that you're lifting your, don't mean your hand, your fingertips, and just you're on your fingertips. And then slide your hands back to your chest. Elbows in, come to kneeling. Tuck your toes. Come to downward dog. And then you might like to step your left foot forward slightly. Lift your right leg. Open your right leg so that you're bending at the knee. And then look to the space between your hands, soften your left knee and step forward with your right leg between your hands. Step with your left leg to meet your right. Hands on the shins, lengthening. Breathe out, bend in. Hands on the shins, lengthen. Stay here as you breathe out, and then breathing in, pressing your hands down as you go, move up vertebra by vertebra, hands up, stretching your fingers, breathing out, lower your hands,
Breathing in, lift and roll your shoulders, and this time clasp your hands behind your back and aim your knuckles to the ground. So you're opening your heart, but you're opening your heart and your lung meridians and your shoulders in a different way. Just look straight ahead. And then separate your hands. Slide your hands down the backs of your legs. Hands either side of you. Stepping back, left foot, right foot in a plank, you're high. And then come to kneeling, and then come to lying. Arms stretch out in front of you. You can come onto your fingertips as an option. And just stretch. And then slide your hands back, palms on the ground, elbows in. Come via up dog to kneeling. Just move your bottom from side to side. Feel that you can move your head if you want to as well. So you're forming an S curve that can be tiny or bigger as you snake your way. I've been exploring the somatic movement of snaking. It's a reptilian movement that's a very ancient movement, and it has an effect on the diaphragm and the psoas muscle. It's kind of quite satisfying. And then tuck your toes underneath, come to your downward dog, walk the dog, and then carry by bending one knee and then the other, and then carry on walking up to the hands. You can come onto the tips of your fingers. You can bring your hands to your feet to your hands, and just really bend your knees and either let your hands, fingers touch the floor, or if you like to hold your opposite elbows in a forward fold, releasing your lower back, you can do that. Just slightly sway from side to side. And then very gently press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing, raising your hands, stretching your fingers, circle your wrists down, and lift and roll your shoulders, and then hands once more at the heart as we come to sit on the floor, feet out in front of us. Lift the flesh up from underneath your bottom, from behind you, and just lightly touch your hands on the floor. It doesn't matter. Classically, your fingers would be pointing forwards, but this is a very relaxed, wherever fixed works for you. And then toes move away from you, and you extend your heels. Point your toes away from you and extend your heels a couple of times. And then start to circle the ankles in one direction. And then start to circle the ankles in the other direction. Stretch your toes out and then just release and relax. Hug your left knee into your chest. And then turn your left knee out to the left and rest your left ankle on top of your right thigh, just above your right knee. Hold your left foot with your right hand, and it doesn't matter how you hold it. I'm holding mine underneath, but we start to circle manually your ankle by physically turning the ankle with your right hand holding it. Just find where's appropriate for you. I find it easier to hold my left foot under the left sole and just circle manually. And then circle manually your left ankle in the opposite direction. There's a subtle difference somehow when you do this manually as to when you do it with your legs out in front of you. And if you can bear to thread your fingers through your toes, if you can't, just hold your palm at the big toe joint and just put your fingers over. But if you can thread your fingers through, then just bend back your toes, all 5 of them, and then just bring them forward. So you're manually stretching out your toes and backwards and then just bending them forwards. It just subtly again works the feet in a slightly different way. And then hugging your left knee into your chest, placing your left foot almost next to your right leg. You're going to be opening the left knee out to the left in a form of Janusirsasana. Extend your right heel, right toes up, hands slightly either side of you as you lengthen your body. And breathing in, hands up, they touch. Bring them back through to the centre and just slide your hands along your right shin, coming forward in a knee, chest, head to knee pose. Sliding your hands up, circling them up, just touching your fingers together, bending your elbows as you slide your hands along your right leg to where they comfortably come. It can be the shin, it can be the lower shin. If you're comfortable, you can touch and hold your feet either side. Sliding your hands up, circling, touching fingers, and then the last third time, just come to take a couple of breaths, coming forward. So you're twisting or turning your body in a rotational slight movement towards your right leg. Your hands come either on the shins to the ankles or holding your feet wherever works for you. Your left hip is open at the inner groin, so it's helpful for the lymph flow. And the head forward in the chin to chest movement is very grounding for your nervous system. Then walk your hands up. Place your left hand behind you, raise your right hand and look at your right thumb. So if you want to take this to the next expression, which I think someone's already doing, press your hand down and lift up. Your chin comes into your chest, your right foot goes on the floor. It's a form of side angle pose, but you've got the support of the left knee on the ground. And then just very gently lower your bottom to the ground. Bend up your right knee so that both knees are on a double V. Hands either side of you, fractionally to lengthen your spine. And turn to face over your left knee as you very gently either stay here or begin to walk your hands forward to come over your left knee. And you can come right to the ground, or you can make a double fist with your hands so that your forehead rests on your double fist and you're not coming over quite so much. But it very much depends on your capacity. The double V is one of the perfect 5 hip movements for health, for hip health. Of course, the right buttock's not supposed to lift up too much, and you can put a support under your right bottom, but it's almost to me impossible not to lift your bottom. And then walk your hands back so that you're upright, hands now either side of you. And stretch both legs out in front of you. Just bouncing your legs and just either rubbing your thighs and your legs or patting them. Again, depends on what you like to do. And then hug your right knee into your chest. Open your right knee out to the right. And taking your left hand underneath the right sole of the foot, just manually turn your ankle, relaxing your foot so that the hand is doing the work. And then turn the other way. So before we move on to threading our fingers through our toes, just now relax your hand and let your foot do the work. So you're turning your ankle, but your foot is doing the turning and your hand is relaxing. And just, again, change direction and notice the difference that feels. Slightly subtly different when your hands do the work or when your feet do the work. And then either thread your fingers through the toes, or if that's not great for you, then just place your hands over your toes and bend your feet forwards, your toes forwards, and then stretch them backwards so that you're opening out the space underneath the feet. And again, you're opening up the lung meridians of the body as they're situated where the toes join the main foot. And then hug your right knee to your chest as you take your right foot off and open your right knee out to the right as you did the other side, and extend your left heel, left toes up. Lengthen your body, hands gently either side of you. Turn slightly towards your outstretched left leg and circling your hands up so that the fingertips touch. Bend your elbows and slide your hands down your legs to where they're comfortably resting, perhaps on the shin, and feel the right hip open. Slide your hands up your legs, circle your hands, touch your fingertips, and then bending your elbows, slide your hands down. This is also brilliant for men if you have any prostate worries, because it's opening the inner groin where you have lymph nodes, the proliferation of them. So it tunes into your lymphatic system at the lower level. Hands, fingers touch. And then as the third time you come down, just slide your hands to where they comfortably come. It might be on your shins, it might be your ankles, it might be either side of your foot. The more you come down, the more you'll feel the stretch potentially on the right out of the right hip. Your chin is tucked slightly in so that the back of the neck is lengthening. And taking an in and an out breath. And then walking the hands up, lengthen your body, hands touching either side of you, and sliding your right hand to the right, rolling onto your right buttock. Left hand looks up at the left thumb, and there is the option to press your right hand down and lift up in a kind of gate pose. That's not the correct Sanskrit name, of course. Chin in. Very strengthening for the wrists, but heavy duty. Lower your bottom to the ground. Bend your left leg up so that your both legs and knees are in a double V. And lengthen your body to turn your body towards your right knee, and then walk your hands out in front of you so that you come to wherever is appropriate for you. You can come to lying on the ground, or you can come to your elbows. You can also come to stacking your fists one on top of the other. And then just very gently walking back, come to place one hand, both hands either side of you, to lean back slightly to allow your feet to stretch out in front of you. Just bounce your feet, bounce your legs, circle your ankles a couple of times. And then bending both knees, come into something called Baddha Konasana, which is where you bring the soles of the feet loosely together. Again, brilliant for prostate. You can hold your ankles and just massage around the inside of your ankle bone. Just massaging almost on the inside of the Achilles. You can slide down a little bit further and take your thumbs to massage the soles of your feet. So the soles of your feet reflect almost the body. So by the heel, you've got the lower intestine, you've got the small intestine slightly higher up under the big toe joint and across the centre, which connects into summer, of course. But wherever feels nice to massage your feet. And then very gently come up and come for a moment into a cross-legged position, easy pose. It's called Sukhasana. And this very strange exercise tones the inside, so it tones your inner, lower, almost digestive system. So hands, backs of the hands on the knees, fingers up, maybe Jnana Mudra, where the thumb and second finger touch in a circle, or hands down. Tense your perineum and release. Tense your perineum upwards and inwards, and your tummy goes back towards your backbone, and release. Tense your perineum up and in, your tummy goes back to the spine, and release. So this gentle toning movement would then also be done, which I can't do. You would be sitting up in Sukhasana so that your heel would almost be into your perineum, so instantly I can't do that. But then you'd be tensing so that the heel and the perineum adds as an extra aid to that tenseness. However, finishing your perineum tonal stretch and coming to a transition to hands and knees in cat-cow as you come to a classic dipping the back, looking up, rounding the back, chin to chest, breathing in, dipping the back. With the bottom up, do the same action, tense and let go. And you might find this easier to do this in this position. Tense the bottom, the perineum tenses and let go. So it tones the muscles internally. Tense and let go. And then round, chin to chest. And then bring your bottom slightly towards your heels, stretching out your arms in front of you in a kind of semi-extended child or swan's pose, it's sometimes called. Take an in and an out breath. Come up, we're going to drop the bottom to the side, either side, doesn't matter, and come onto our backs. Hugging both knees into the chest, stretching out the lower back, and just rocking gently from side to side. Keep the right knee hugged into the chest and extend the left leg along the floor. The left heel is slightly extended and the left toes are slightly up to the ceiling. And then just turn the whole body to the left. You might like to engage your elbows to help you turn to the left. Your right hip will lift off the floor, and you could, if you wanted to, take support under your right inner knee. For the moment, rest your right hand on your right waist and place your left hand close to the right hand on the outside of the right thigh. Extend your left heel and optionally turn your head to look up to the right. You don't have to turn your head totally to the right, but just naturally letting your head slightly turn to the right. This very supine stretch is particularly helpful for just realigning everything. Taking an in and an out breath. Just check that the right shoulder comes away from the ear, so you might need to lower your right elbow slightly. And then very gently roll onto your back. Hug the right knee in towards your chest and place the right foot on the floor, extending the right leg out. If you need to just shift your weight to even yourself up, please do, as we bend the left knee into the chest, hugging the left knee in, extending the right heel, and then rolling the whole body. You might like to press down on your left elbow to be able to facilitate that as you roll over to the right. Your right hand goes on the outside of the left thigh, and your left hand goes on your left waist, and you look slightly to the left. Eyes either open or closed. Extending slightly the right heel just gives an added stretch, but not so tightly that you're tensing, just a gentle stretch. And then very gently, when you're ready, roll onto your back again. Bend both knees, both feet on the floor, and you might like to palms down on the floor alongside you. Press your feet into the ground just to lift your bottom and just straighten yourself out. Just sway both knees gently from side to side. Both knees are moving in the same direction. And then hug one knee into the chest and then the other, so both knees are hugging into the chest. Again, repeat that slight sway from side to side. And then drop your hands to your thighs, clasp your hands maybe, and just gently raise your feet up to the ceiling. So this is an inverted forward bend, not completely, but you're mimicking that shape. If you prefer to unclasp your hands to hold the backs of your thighs, then please do. And you might like to add a certain gentle sway, millimeters from side to side, just to distract the mind. Your knees can be soft, they don't have to be hard. And if you want to mimic the forward bend even more, then you can walk your hands up your legs, holding where it's comfortable, either at the front or the back, and just rock from side to side. And if you've got long arms and you like to hold your big toe, you can hold your big toes, your legs will open out slightly into a V, and again, just that rocking from side to side. And then bend your knees, hug them into your chest, again rocking from side to side. And then place one foot and then the other foot on the floor, knees are bent, feet are hip width apart. Just very gently clasp your hands behind your head, supporting your head, elbows are out to the side, and breathing out. Just subtly lift up. If your tummy domes, you've gone too far, and then relax down, your elbows open out. Breathing out, flatten your back as you lift your head, chin comes into the chest, up slightly towards your knees, you're not going to go very far. And then relax back down again, opening the elbows. And one more time, breathing out, supporting the head with the hands. Lift up, you're engaging your core, tummy domes, you've gone too far, and then just relaxing back down again. Releasing your head, hands can either rest on the abdomen or palms down as you just very gently sway your knees from side to side. And then just very gently, we're going to be coming to a seated position. So either roll the knees to the side and come up gently and gradually, or you can just gently hug your knees into your chest and rock up, or hug one knee into the chest and rock up. So we're going to, in our own time, come to a seated position with the legs out in front. Lift the flesh out from under the knees, hands just lightly either side of you, and extend your heels upwards. Extend your heels, your toes go upwards. Cross your right leg over your left, lengthen your body, bring your left palm to the outside of your right thigh, right hand behind you, breathing in, lengthen your body, breathing out, turn a little bit or a lot towards the right. You may or may not look over your right shoulder. And stay here as an in and out breath. Come back to the centre, uncross your legs and slide forward in a forward bend. You might like to hold your big toes if that's accessible to you, but if not, don't worry. And take an in and an out breath here. Chin to chest. Slide your hands up, hands either side of you, and cross your left ankle over your right. Lengthen your body as you breathe in, and take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh, left hand behind you as you lengthen your body. Breathe in and breathing out, turn to your left, however much works for you, a little bit or a lot. Any kind of rotation is very realigning for the spine. This is a very gentle rotation. And we've already warmed the body up by swinging our legs from side to side, or our knees from side to side. Come back to the centre, uncross your left ankle, and then sliding your hands forward once more into a forward bend. Either holding your shins or holding your big toes, if you want to come further forward. Just notice as you breathe in this forward fold that the breath is going into the back of the body. The ribs expand. So the breath focus here is just subtly different from how we perhaps might normally breathe. Tummy in as you're sliding up and come to a very gentle cross-legged position. We're going to just have a couple of breaths. If you remember Kapalabhati, this is the training, this is like the dandelion breath. Imagine you've got dandelion heads on each finger, and with your mouth just blow the dandelions as if you're blowing them off. And you can imagine, have a wish as you're doing that, but your tummy will go in as you blow onto your thumb. And then just one more round. Drop your hands. Bring your hands in front of you. You would then come onto your knees and jump back to come to standing, but I'm just going to invite you to uncross your legs. Come forward to kneeling as you tuck your toes and come very gently up to standing, rolling up vertebra by vertebra. To standing, We're not going to stand for very long. Come to feet out into an A. Feet can be slightly into a goddess pose. And arms out like a star as you just slide from side to side. You can move your arms as well if you want to. You can turn your head if you want to. It's a very fluid variation on Warrior 2. So again, from side to side. And then very gently come to the center, lower your arms, bring your feet more to hip width apart. And the Tibetan triangle is very different from a normal triangle. Raise your right arm, turn the palm inwards towards you. Your left hand connects with your left thigh, chin in, and you're very gently going to tilt over so it becomes a lateral stretch. Chin is in, your right arm almost as close to your right ear. You won't go very far. Breathing in, come upwards and lower your right arm. Lift and roll your right shoulder. And then raise the left arm, the palm faces inwards and the inner left arm is almost connecting to the ear. Your right hand holds your right thigh and breathing out chin to chest, just come. Feel that your body is between two panes of glass so that you won't twist quite so much. And breathing in, come upright. Raising the arms, join the thumbs together and just sway from side to side. And then depending on your balance, come to the center and just lift your heels. You're exercising all the leg muscles. If you can sway side to side, which I can hardly do, then please do that. You're doing so much better than me. And then when you've had enough of that, come to the center and lower your heels back down to the ground. Lower your hands. Connect them to the heart, Anjalini Mudra, and then come back down to the ground again, knees bent, on our backs, feet hip width apart. As we come to a variation of bridge, so knees up, feet hip width apart. And just start with a couple of pelvic tilts, so flattening the back as if you were going to lift your bottom and releasing so that there's a little space underneath the base of your spine, and flattening the back and then reversing the pelvis so that there's a little gap. And then when you next press your feet down, bend your elbows and raise your elbows up behind you. Your chin goes to your chest. You're lifting your bottom, stretching your arms behind you a little bit or a lot. And as you breathe out, start to lower your hands and start to lower your back and bottom down to the ground. And when you're ready again, press your feet down as you lift your bottom, bending your elbows, raising your arms up above you, chin to the chest. Raising your bottom up a little bit or a lot. Breathing out, lower your bottom back down to the earth. Feeling the almost vertebra by vertebra movement along your spine. And one last time, pressing your feet down, lifting your bottom, bending your elbows, rolling up. This time as you come down, once your back is connected to the ground, hug your knees into your chest and just rock from side to side. And then still hugging your knees, hug them into the chest, still holding them, let them travel away to arm's length. Hug the knees into the chest and let them travel away to arm's length. Hug the knees into the chest and let them travel away to arm's length. And just do that a couple of times, massaging your back with the weight, connecting into the lower energy. It's called a prana energy. And a prana is a lower earthing, grounding energy, which is very good for regulating the vata, so any pain and basically vata disturbance. So basically, if you're very stressed, this is a very grounding type of pose to do. And then very gently let your feet just come back down to the ground. Knees up, feet on the ground. And take a hand and just very gently with the palms, the flats of the pads of the fingers, circle around the centre of the forehead. That's your third eye. Just a nod to it's called the Ajna chakra, the third eye, the centre of intuition. And then there's very gently take both hands and just hold, lightly connect to the top of the head, as if you're cradling your head in your hands. And this connects to the crown chakra, called the Saraswara chakra. It's going to be very soothing to hold the top of your head because you've got so many acupressure points here. And literally where the fontanelles at the top of where the fontanelles would meet, is believed to be the connection of us, where our magnetic fields connects to the outside consciousness, the bigger world. So this kind of grounds, it gives you protection. And while you're holding your head in this unusual position, just take a moment to have a thought for the day, wishing yourself or somebody or something well, whatever your thought is, and just connect to that thought a couple of times. And then just releasing your fingers, the thought and intention for the day has been set. Hug your knees into your chest and just gently rock from side to side. And then very gently come to a seated position, taking your time, perhaps to roll to the side or come up, however works for you, and come to a very soft, seated or easy pose once more, as we connect to the heart, connecting once more to the summer energy. Bring the hands to the heart, breathing in, just open the palms out, breathing out, bring the hands back to the heart, chin comes to the chest. Becomes a moving meditation, breathing in, opening the fingers slightly, breathing out, bringing the hands back to the chest, chin to chest. Breathing in, opening the fingers. Breathing out, chin to chest, and hands come back to the heart. And just do this a couple more times in your own breath pattern. Connecting once more to the summer energy, the heart energy, connected with high summer. And then very gently rest your hands at the heart. Chin just drops slightly. Feel the connection of the energy as the neck extends, allows the blood and prana to go into the head. And then very gently bring your chin up. And thank you very much.